Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
What up, what up? How's everybody doing this morning? It is Mood Friday. And what a mood it is to get over IT problems to start this bitch at 8 o'clock. So we're a little late. But markets are closed today, so we figured we didn't have to fucking kill ourselves to figure that out. So how's the sitch in the trauma unit? You guys get through the watch and rewatches? Guten Morgen. Life's peachy, you know. I figure that was definitely a very uplifting episode of Black Order, as they all have been. No sleep till Brooklyn, see that as. Hey, you gotta have Mood Friday after the trauma show. You already know. Shout out to Cross. 40 months at tier 3. Appreciate you supporting the show at that level. Slept like a baby. His burger likes Annihilation. He's been wishing for that to come along anyway. Too many humans, you know. Started packing to leave North America last night. He's like, not even like leave Texas. He's like, leave North America, the entire fucking area. That's fucking hilarious. It's not to freak everybody out, but you know, if you see those tweets we had back in 2016, 17, and 18 was above the bias, and myself and you know some other guys that in the eco. That was like, you know, the news was out there, the kind of movements Putin is making after Crimea. You know, obviously Crimea now looks like really obviously what, you know, strategic as fuck. To isolate like the main conduit to control gas into Europe, to control leveraging them in the winter. It looks crazy as fuck, but he, you know, he's very tactical and he's really patient. The kind of time frame he makes his moves across, you know, the TikTok generation is kind of like, you know, a symptom of the problem. The short attention span people have, they kind of expect to see all the cards laid out this week. And you know, China moves in much bigger time frames than that. You know, he's got to make his play and get it right once. How long would you wait to make a once in a lifetime play? You know, and that's kind of how you have to think about it. 143 viewers, others moving countries. It's Good Friday. It's a holiday. Markets are closed. I expect a lot of people to be missing and, you know, using the day off to go do some shit. So I figured it'd be kind of a casual show. I thought about having another panel, but I figured that'd be kind of overkill. We just kind of sit here and probably discuss some things about that and look more broadly across some things with a little bit more, you know, less rush with the market not opening on us and stuff. I think we can kind of chill and get through some things. So, as always in holiday specials, we try to have some fun with those and, you know, and maybe some goodies in here along the way. But yeah, definitely some things to think about in that one. You know, on the food thing, this actually, I found it right after last night's show. And this shit looks crazy. You know, check this one out. Oh, wait, I forgot which setting is what now because I moved things around last night. That's not it. Ooh, that one does that. Oh, right. Okay. NYU professor living in Shanghai says his family's turned into, are you seeing this? Hunter-gatherers and are bartering food to survive the city's COVID lockdown. Do you even, like, that is a scary fucking sentence. But yeah, food plus pandemic equals insta fucking crisis, you know? And it's definitely fucking something you gotta pay attention to. You guys see Noam Chomsky? I guess if he says the same shit I do like a bit later, it gets the respect it deserves. But this is really true, you know? He's actually born in Ukraine. I don't know if many people know that. Jewish dude born in Ukraine. Russia and China, you know? This is pretty crazy, right? When asked about the Russia-China relationship, whether he thought there was a chance of them joining forces to become a superpower under the current circumstances, Chomsky responded that it was a relationship based on strategy rather than a true partnership. And who do you have to strategize against, right? So this is getting obvious. At least 2017, 2016, this wasn't as obvious, but now it's fucking obvious, right? Drawing comparisons to the lack of global military support for the U.S. invasion, which he has denounced as a crime disguised as a noble intention, Chomsky predicted that predicted that China, along with the rest of the world, would remain largely absent from Ukraine, right? And for reasons that, like, the U.S. is way out of fucking, way out of balance with the rest of the planet. Um, so this is the other thing, right? No one really considers Putin's perspective. They just, there's people pressuring everyone. It's like, you must say Putin's evil. I forget which politician said that, but it's just ridiculous. Like, evil is subjective. Nobody thinks they're fucking evil. Everybody's pretty sure they're doing the right thing. And you have to think about it like that, right? What is the other person's position to they could possibly justify what you don't see as being rational to do? Um, you know, this is very important. Chomsky declared that it's not enough to simply write the conflict off as a matter of Putin's twisted mind. Putin, this is the biggest statement here over the whole thing. Putin is as concerned with democracy as we are. And when you realize that statement, then you have to ask yourself, well, who is fucking restraining his democracy? And there's only one person doing that. This is an amazing statement, right? All those nations he's listing up there, Chile, this is fucking the USA coming into contact with their country and fucking their country collapsing. The US has no commitment to sovereignty. They fucking smash countries. So that's what everyone's facing, right? You have the entire world sitting there fucking basically, coalescing into another unit to stand against one actual evil in the world. The thing that swears it's the good guys become the monster. So it's pretty crazy, but people are starting to come to terms with it, and it's going to spread like wildfire. There's not an immediate solution for the things that we're dealing with right now. And this is definitely worth keeping on the radar. It's going to fuel a lot of the things that we deal with in markets and in our real lives, for quite some time to come. Don't say anything, Leon. What did you just jinx? Chocolate bar and house? I don't even know what that is. What could the West do to cause Putin to fail? That's like, asking a hypothetical. The U.S. is out of pocket right now to really do anything. Putin has all the cards. That's the point. Shoot him with a nuke first. That's about it. The U.S. has no leverage. That's the whole point of what we're discussing. Why ask a hypothetical? Pay attention to what we're talking about. That doesn't even make sense. Kaz, you mentioned that in Western countries, real estate was at least a good hedge against the devaluation of the currency to come, with geopolitical risk involved and a risk of imminent war in Central Europe, as described yesterday in Black Order Stream. Having a roof over our head still sounds like a good idea, but risky as fuck at the same time. If we have to evacuate or if it gets bombed, so I'm confused again. No, you're not. Your fucking house is something you still have to have. You're either gonna fucking rent it from somebody else that owns it, or you're gonna fucking have your own. That still doesn't change tomorrow if there's a fucking war, right? What are you gonna do? Live under a bridge? And if there's a fucking war, you think your cash goes down faster than doesn't go down faster than your house? It's common fucking sense. There's just nothing else you put in. Keep cash and be a renter, or own a house. Who do you think's in a better position in a fucking year when there's a war situation? You think the guy with the cash is in a better situation? He's under a fucking river. In a van down the river. So we had a cool chart up yesterday, and I did want to re-explore something that Berger had said. Where did you put it, Berger? Berg, I'm trying to find your fertilizer chart. That was a pretty good one. Not see if I can see it too easy though. Um, if you link that one back inside the Discord for me, do that for me. I want to put that one up here and discuss it a little bit. I thought that was pretty interesting to put on the back of the human population chart we did last night. It was Mao that did it? Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I found it. Okay, cool. So this is huge. Like I thought, this is pretty amazing, right? Check this out. So we talk about this chart. When you look at this, like when you apply leverage, you apply credit, right? And if there's a good, easy money, it allows you to take risks you otherwise couldn't take and create things you otherwise wouldn't create because the risks are too great to take the chance. This is the key to producing a lot of the innovations we have. There are things that you can finance and fail at, and continue to finance until you succeed that otherwise would be too expensive to try. And it's where a lot of our technical innovations come from, which is why easy monetary policy facilitates growth in many dimensions. When you look at this chart, right, and you look at the industrialized countries again, and you look at the amount of population growth we've had in the industrialized countries versus this massive differential that you can see this widening. This isn't a sustainable gap. As the world gets more efficient and this massive labor pool doesn't really have a place to operate or enough food to feed all these mouths, there is a tendency for reversion in something like this, right? This market is really underpinned by the industrialized countries and the amount of labor they need, from manual human labor to produce what they're producing and can feed and sustain and keep in balance. But this is half the story of what really happens here post World War II that allows this trajectory arc to take place that really blows the population numbers to the fucking ceiling. Mao did a good job of finding us out this really amazing fucking piece right here. And this is something to think about with what Putin is leveraging in the food crisis, right? This is the world population with and without synthetic nitrogen fertilizer. Estimates for global population reliant on synthetic nitrogen fertilizer produced via blah, 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 blah. So what you can see, from here in the 1940s, like Berger said, the Nazis pumped the world population too on the back of the easy money credit that was in the world in the wartime situation. They leveraged food production by amplifying the yields of fertilizer. So the world population arc, right where we just showed you, 1950s post World War II. When you look at it, this is a market without that leverage in the food production through synthetic fertilizer. Putin is actually leveraging fertilizer against us, and our capacity to actually produce at these artificial levels. It's kind of interesting when you look at this, right? If you just took away that leverage in food production, you'd lose 3 billion humans, 4 billion humans. This kind of gives you an idea of what he's really playing with by leveraging that fertilizer against the marketplace. I believe they control 40% of that, and so this is a hell of a thing to think about, right? You can change the population of the world by billions fucking with what he's playing with, and you don't have to shoot a single bullet. He has real leverage. No, this is not, the U.S. does not have a version of this to do back to anybody else, nor can they do it to the rest of the world. He can do this to the whole world. So not that he can affect the entire gap, but there's a lot of room in here, It's something to see. You can see here just a piece that's fed by synthetic fertilizer, right? This is not the fucking industrialized world. So it's something to see. Crazy, right? So if he can de-lever the credit system and affect the fertilizer market, those are the two pieces that really bumped the human population in the back half of the 20th century. So he's targeting, the leverage that actually allows us to amplify the human capital itself, and within that leverage system, the fertilizer that like actually allows the food production for that leverage population, which continues to then create leverage on leverage. He's unwinding both leveraged systems that are on top of each other, not just the credit system, the food leverage. This is like real scary shit. Yeah, he is fucking playing with like shit. Like right now, he's playing with the entire fucking like collective population of the planet to get what he wants. Like this is a legacy play. I'm telling you, it's not fucking some bullshit fucking policy move. You really zoom out, and look at the two pieces of what he's got his fingers on. Like the nuclear, the nuclear option is like a failsafe. But this is far worse, right? A nuclear weapon cannot do the kind of damage that this shit can do. If you really back up and you see this shit, if it gets running, and the U.S. doesn't figure out something really fucking fast to stop what he's doing, he's gonna get what he wants. You're gonna get the whole world to agree with what you want right now, and they're willing to bring the world to its knees to get from under what they perceive as subjugation. When you ignore people's plights long enough and you build up enough hate, people go to extraordinary lengths to fucking free themselves from what is really enslavement. And the West has fucking smashed every economy in the world to the point that like if the U.S. is not functional, everybody's in fucking recession. They've left nothing left for anybody. If the U.S. isn't doing the very best, you're not doing well at all. You know, it's a crazy dynamic they've created. So there's no boom times in China while there's a recession in Russia, and there's like a recovery happening in Canada, and maybe there's been a long-term boom in fucking Argentina. The U.S. has raided every fucking country so that either we boom and you boom a little bit, or if we stagnate, you burn. So now there's nothing left to steal. And that's a tilted system, right? When the system is tilted, there's some of the fundamentals of the fucking conqueror that will change. And that's what we try to show you, like, at the end of many empires, you see a lot of things like what we talked about. It's a trait, the gender confusion thing. This massive boom you see in alternative lifestyles is actually a telltale trait of many of the empires because the activity of the empire is different. They're not actually out there murdering everyone. They're done murdering everyone. Now I've got time to chop my dick off. It's literally like it's as ridiculous as it sounds. It's like literally the telltale end when your fucking conqueror starts to snip his own shit. That's just not something Alexander the Great would be doing at the moment he's riding into India. So it's kind of like something you have to pay attention to. These are all the fundamentals of this particular market that give away some of the fucking problems that allow for reversion in the population markup led by the West and fueled by the credit system and the fucking, fertilizer boom that we see created by the credit system. It's a crazy shit. With automation and efficiency gains, you just don't need that many fucking people anymore. And you can't feed them. You weren't even keeping up to feed them before shit like this happened. We talked about that many times on the show that you were lagging ever since the financial crisis, the actual capacities to feed your people. And, the population is doing something that's unsustainable with the underpinnings of, the marketplace. Just like housing crisis, you can't have the houses rising at a pace that the incomes don't make sense. And then an adjustment in the interest rates that happen with adjustable rate mortgages then just torpedoes all affordability and fucking rips it to pieces. Supreme 92. I'm a little confused on the food shortage timeline. Definitely for the future, but is there a risk short term? Yeah, there's risk right fucking now. Did you see the shit I just showed you with this fucking guy? And this is today. This is right now. It's in the East. It's coming your way. Like, this is not like, wait on it. This is fucking right now. This motherfucker is bartering for fucking food. There are fucking shortages of grain in Morocco, all over the fucking planet. Right now, there are fucking riots for food. This second, while we're sitting here. Don't wait for it to show up on your doorstep and say, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that makes sense. Motherfucker, go get some shit. The fuck? Bitches is fucking hunter-gatherers and shit, man. Gonna be fucking like, tearing pelts off of fucking fine fucking critters and shit. Oh no. It really shows that, quote, if I wreck the next guy, I do relatively better, X over Y thing. It's not the thing that the U.S. has become number one while they relatively don't really have anything just from stealing only. Well, I mean, if you're gonna take every population and put it underneath you, you're gonna, make them the worker. And it's a dynamic that kind of has to happen, right? Like, so the U.S., Steve Jobs creates this idea for an iPhone. And he's the idea generator, and he needs to leverage economy of scale to produce it as cheap as possible, to put it at a price that makes sense with the margins and what the economy he's in can bear. So you need a workforce, right? And the U.S. has worked it out. Like, he made workers domestically produce the parts of the iPhone. The iPhone is going to be like fucking $8,000, which is not economically viable. So this is kind of just like the natural order of things. It's not necessarily evil. It's kind of just what is gonna happen. And if you think it would be different, once China, gets in position, they're gonna suppress most of the planet, and there's gonna be parts of the planet that literally are just fucking producing nations. It was not gonna be different, just a different order. I can tell you, like, right now, the U.S. is coming to terms to exactly how fucking far-reaching this problem is, and you can tell that by the level of pressure Biden is going, right? It seems like extreme, like the fucking like full targeting of citizens to be fucking like literally extricated society all over the world. You've never seen something like that, right? You've seen a lot of countries do crazy shit. You've seen Gaddafi do crazy shit. You've never seen Libyan citizens targeted fucking personally in your backyard and had their accounts disconnected so they can't even fly the fuck out. You've never seen that, right? We've got nation states that we declared terror nation states. Like North Koreans, fucking. I don't know if we have any North Koreans anywhere anyway, because if you get out of there, you're never going back. But there's a lot of nations that we designated like terror nations, and you never see like this fucking like all out fucking sanction across all activities of an individual. Medical institutions considering not treating an Afghani national because of the war in Afghanistan or something. Like, we've never ever seen a full fucking like wipeout of one people on a planet. So that's like so extreme. It tells you they know something, right? He's trying to cripple the country enough fast enough to basically break Putin's back before he can really do this. They know. When we wrote this out in 2016 to 18, the information to figure out this is coming is absolutely there. The U.S. intelligence is pretty much aware of everything that I'd ever be aware of, and then some. It's connecting the dots, in a meaningful amount of time to go, oh fuck, and do something that they didn't do. Putin did this so slowly and gradually, it didn't seem possible. And the U.S. has got really complacent in the fact that had their foot on their neck so long. You never realize that if you just kind of like you force everybody down to like under your foot at this level and squeeze a little more. You never believe that within this space, it's its own universe, they could redevelop a system they could operate. And this would be where they would have an optimal efficiency to still conduct an attack. The U.S. got confident that like you really can't do shit from down there. Your people are barely on the brink, and then it didn't fucking really take them seriously. And piece by piece, across 20 years, they made movements. It's a long period when you look at where their alliance starts in 2002's military operations to where they declare themselves emperors, where they begin to fucking really focus on space, where Putin secures a gas pipeline, his subtle influence in a few opposing battles with Syria, and kind of like showing fucking the ability to fucking resist the U.S.'s like totalitarian fucking like regime, and kind of creating like a barrier between like the narrative the U.S. is selling and fucking like their narratives, while not going all out war. They've been subtly kind of psyoping the world to kind of see like the West version of reality is there as a version and not the absolute fact. And so like they've been very very slow, more methodical about it, operating from the position that they've been left with after being stepped on this long by the West. And the West really didn't take it seriously that their messaging could be beaten. But it's not that the messaging is beaten. It's that, he's got a few other things to leverage to kind of help sell his message and, make people take notice. At the end of the day, every nation that's been fucking manipulated or sanctioned or crippled or had their assets stolen or, cut out of the world economic system or left behind because the West has made sure to steal everything has a reason to fucking listen. And he's aware of that too. China, playing their role, kind of almost seeming to be neutral, but not right, not quite, kind of leaning to Russia. You kind of got motherfuckers, but yeah, I don't know. China's becoming a little bit better at selling their message too. If you notice, they're not quite as fucking like brutish in selling this message now. They're definitely leaning in the Russian favor, but looking like you could still possibly like rely on them. And the U.S. is definitely in danger. I would say that the U.S. reaction to Russia tells you they know what you can do about it at this point. All they are doing, right, without firing a missile over there, they're trying to destroy every man, woman, and child like overnight to see if they can fucking stuff them from the inside. Ultimately, Putin knows that America's real threat is from the inside. If you saw those hashtags on the tweet, Western Spring, that was the forecast, right? What would really beat America? Not a missile, America's own people. Just like America did to the Arabs in the Arab Spring, you just lit a fucking ideological fucking sandstorm inside the fucking population and then sat back and let them rip the fucking country to fucking pieces. Putin stressed directly, if you look at the Democrats versus Republicans and what they're doing with the population, like fucking pulling them into these two sides, and then you got Fox and fucking CNN and MSNBC really playing this ideological like insanity, pitting people against each other. You've made it very obvious that the best fucking weapon to use against the American population is the American people. You don't have to fucking go over there and do shit. These people are willing to kill each other now. If things are so fucking stressed out inside the country, it's like a powder keg. So let's help push it over the line. And the best thing to push over the line is not some bullshit news story. Fucking food, famine. Get those motherfuckers to fight as highly charged as they are right now, and you'll make the Capitol riot look like a fucking joke. The Capitol riot was a test pump. Yeah, I think you could. You know what? Yeah, it can show you like what level of civility we're at. And it looks fucking like we're going backwards in time. It does definitely show you like how quickly things can devolve, and there are tons of well-armed citizens. And when it comes down to food, people will get their guns. Hey, if people are willing to get their guns over not getting haircuts, can you imagine when your fucking kids are hungry for like 7 to 10 days, 20, 30 days? People are gonna do some crazy shit. There'll be all civility be out the window, all rules will be out the window. You think about you see looting and shit, and people rioting. People aren't even in that dire situation. You wait till it's about survival, and it happens in the first world that's not used to something like this happening in front of their faces. Not that I think anybody gets used to fucking starvation. Republicans have a lot of guns. Everybody has a lot of fucking guns. Everybody's not fucking stupid. Do I think the U.S. makes things right again with Russia? No, dude, this is a battle of our times. This is tribal shit. It's winner take all kind of shit on the planet. There isn't going to be any shared kumbaya. Whatever the next power is going to do the same fucking thing and create the same fucking tilt until fucking humans aren't here to do this, cyclical behavior that animals do. So, this isn't a traumatic, right? I'm trying to like keep the mood light. It's Mood Friday. I smoked a lot of ganja before I got on here. I didn't drink all my coffee. I feel pretty good though. So like I was telling you guys, you don't get all fucking like in your feelings. This is kind of like any other analysis special. We kind of just look at the tea leaves and tell you what's on them. It's not a good or bad thing. It's just a what it is thing. I think it's kind of, our idea of time is so fucked up. We're pretty sure like it's never been this crazy. But like think about like, I'm in my 40s. My mother was born like a couple years before they dropped a nuke in Japan. Like if you think about what kind of technology we accept as being normal today, I really can't grasp like my grandmother's idea of a nuclear weapon in the 1940s. They don't have spaceships yet, and a weapon that fucking literally can incinerate an entire city goes off. What does a person whose idea of technology has a 1940s level think of a weapon like that when that goes off? What level of fear does that really create for people? For people today to be like, oh, nothing's ever been as scary as this. I was like, man, your grandparents and great grandparents saw some shit in time periods where their understanding of technology was like X, and the kind of horrors going on in front of you and the kind of lives lost in World War One and Two were fucking insane. And this is in the last 120 years. We've always been doing really crazy shit. Really think about the numbers of people lost in World War One, and look at the amount of people who were on the planet at the time. You scale that up to today and have like a war that's like at the same size, relatively in the different time periods. I mean, it'd be fucking casualties you couldn't fucking dream of. The losses you have when the human population is the biggest it's ever been are nominally going to be the biggest numbers you've ever seen. So it's always going to look the worst it's ever been. And if we have things like that today, like it's really within context of what we as a people really do, pretty cyclically within every 100 years. We fight a lot. So I think you could even say we're overdue, right? There really isn't really peaceful, long-lived periods. Most of us will, if you live 50 to 60 years, live into a fucking insane period. If you think about it, right? Where is there like a 50-year period going back like the last 300 years that something fucking insane is not really happening if you really, look at the macro of it? Chomsky, actually, if you look at Chomsky, bro, he looks like he's actually been in every fucking war of the last fucking century. He just needs to fucking kick the bucket already, bro. 93, just give it up, buddy. Like, yeah, he looks like fucking war hit him right in the fucking keister. We're just animals. No, it's pretty crazy. So, it's 9 o'clock. Uh, so now, does anybody have some war stories? See, that really fits with the theme of things now. We're on war footing, right? I was more traumatized last night. Well, I'm sorry I didn't meet your trauma threshold this morning. I'll work on that. Racism from the 70s is still hard to comprehend. Why? It's still going on right now and just more in your face. It's just what people do. It's tribal shit. We're naturally racist. Everybody in this channel is naturally tribal. It's just what humans are. It's what every animal is. Nothing good or bad about it. He's just an animal. Which obesity rates as high as they are in the Western world, the amount of food caloric value required to maintain that is also insane. Metabolic rates about to take a massive hit. Damn, Dr. D, you put that in a fucking way that really fucking hits home, right? Everyone in the West is so fucking fat. You bitch ass motherfuckers eat too much. In a food crisis? Oh man. You fatty bumbleladdies, body positive. That's the top of that motherfucking cycle where it's glorious to be a big fucking heaping pile of fucking gelatinous shit. Talk about a tilt in the fucking system in a food crisis. Glorious food. I've shoved as much of it up my fucking fat ass. Let me show it to you on Instagram. Man, if that's not euphoria of the fatty, Dr. Dizzle just called a crash cycle of these big ass bitches. Well, if there's anything that's fucking worth seeing gone, maybe body positivity is probably it. Bro, celebrating and being as healthy as possible and fucking clueless if your dick works or not. If that's not the end of a goddamn society, I don't know what the fuck is. Like, what the fuck? That's some crazy shit. Plus size model puts. Get some leaps. That's nuts. Hey, cycles are cycles. Hey, you can't fucking. Somebody once said it in the channel. It was pretty good logic, I gotta say. Right now they shit on people who are like fucking ripped and flexing on fucking Instagram and like, oh, you put a lot of work into being fucking some fucking bullshit that nobody else is. And, I'm a fat fuck and like, respect me. At the end of the day, if you're fucking like a heaping fucking gelatinous mass like Lizzo, you actually put a lot of work into becoming 300 fucking pounds. It's not like you just appeared that, oh, woe is me. Bitch, you had to fucking eat like a village worth of fucking calories to turn into that shit. And fucking like, deprive fucking a nation of fucking sustenance. You put just as much work. It's just that work that we want to celebrate, you fat fuck. Don't hate on motherfuckers because they're beautiful. Better yourself. It takes a lot of effort to be a fucking gelatinous fucking mass. So fuck that. It's ridiculous. Gen Z in all kinds of circles. Gen Z in top of many circles. Sexual deviation, body positivity, unproductivity. Literally the fucking dregs of society as a trait. Who wants to spread that to other nations? Hey, people in Ethiopia have enough food. You should be fat pieces of shit like us too. What? Take that shit and shove it up your fat ass. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Canola oil injections. All right, let me see what's on Reddit. Let's see if you guys actually got some stuff that's not me having to rip into fucking society's nonsense. Got a couple. TR Shapes, book incoming. Okay. He's got bullet points. He has learned. I appreciate you, TR. I really do. Kaz and Vicky and Eco, feeling less potato. Now that I refocused on consuming content daily and organized my days, consuming content daily is important. Also reduce entertainment and distractions. What are you talking about? This is fucking not entertainment? What are you trying to say right now? If you fucking consume more of my content and you're not entertained, bitch. Did he really write this? Open mouth, insert foot. Are you consuming more of this? You're not entertained? What did you just say? Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Let's finish. Also reduce entertainment to the minimum to improve mental clarity. So far, so good. It's one of my best weeks. I don't zoom in more than 1 hour time frame, as majority of my losses come from time frames below that. So this is stunningly more powerful than you realize, right? If you keep track of enough of your data, you'll figure out some interesting fundamentals of what actually kills you. This is really important. Let's just say every time I touch fucking Home Depot, I get kicked in my fucking dick. Stop trading fucking Home Depot. This is the simplest way to stop getting kicked in your dick. You know? It could be that simple. Not speaking about anybody in particular, but fuck Home Depot. I try to stick to play setups and did work for me before. I'm being conservative with ours instead of chasing a flex performance, taking the time to plan my plays at home and not FOMO ticker to ticker, playing only OnlyFans and show tickers. The plays, LMT 2.5R, I played a structure out of a narrowing bull flag. It reminded me a bit of the Yosh fractal I've seen on the blog. This is a great fucking sheet. Let's see. Nice. What is this? 3 on steel, limit order executed, set above the crash. Looks good, my friend. Deer's a monster. Hope you guys got it. This is the initial break on the sheet, and you got a second play above the fucking trigger on that sheet, and he went out and broke high again. So, congrats everyone who fucking nailed that. Was afraid not to hit the target for the long weekend. Ape. Let's see. Fake breakout. The bull flag I was looking at, so I decided to play above that structure. I used was too small and too late. One missed opportunity was still under the radar. Okay, live and learn. I think that's a pretty good reflection. Good shit. To the point also. I like that. Steve Zanata. Oh, we have a level for this guy last night. What did you ask about? You're going on a chart for something after the show. It was something good. Somebody find that. He's not escaping that. He jinxed something. After quite a few years of not taking myself seriously within Kaz's ecosystem, resulting in lackluster results, it finally started to click more recently. For me, it was the fear of success that held me back. And I simply told myself and Kaz that I see myself as a full-time trader to actually be consistent. That said, I still do mistakes, and these war stories are more effective reminders for myself than writing them in a notepad. First 1 hour loss was simply cost of doing business. Second 1 hour loss was due to lack of patience and waiting to see any sign of rotation. Right. This one's definitely no sign of rotation where you take it. It looked like you tried to catch the knife and thought it would just bounce where it was. Let's see this one. Ooh, look at that projection. Pretty badass. I like that. Did you throw that on there before it happened? That's pretty dope. You found at least the area he'd do the flag, and then he's got to track the size of it. Really, really nice move right there, right? And you know the wedge for watch out for danger. I like it. RTX. Yeah, those motherfucking defensive guys move crazy. Very nice. And then this is, what is this one? John Deere. Oh, we still got a 3R in the corner. That's pretty beast entry to pull that off down in the depths of hell right there. You had the entry from like a really ridiculous one. Very good counter structure. A free roll left in that bitch. You'd be fucking catching something out there. But no worries. 3Rs is pretty good. X, played the rotation out of X bull flag, similar to what I did for RTX and DE. Used XME, NUE, and AA as a guide to close a position. So that's really good, right? You built your own basket around it with similar assets and then figured out where to fucking guard yourself from giving it back. very intelligent and really good adaptation of what you see in the show. So this is kind of what we wanted to do. We want to see you take what's here, and then I don't have to tell you, hey, go get AA. We've talked about these things. We've built baskets in front of you, and you talk about correlation of assets. And so now this is Steve literally taking what's in the show and practical application. Between that war story and all the countless other war stories and all the stuff that we've put out here content-wise, there is an education here that you can't buy. All you have to do is take your time to look at it. So I think that's pretty good. Those are two good war stories today, and very technical too. And what they're telling you, they've gleaned and applied from the show. Good shit. I like that. But still, what was his fucking segue? Oh right, Steve last night said, "I wish we went back to the way things used to be." So that's gonna be the Stevie D reminisce level. Well, let's go stick that bitch on fucking the Goku chart. He has made the show. Thought he was safe. Yeah, I'm just stoned as fuck. Thanks for remembering that. Let's go stick your ass where fucking Goku's at. I actually typed in the symbol Goku just now. That's just fucking bad. Alright. Steve's reminiscing. What level are you reminiscing on, Steve? Is that level right there? On the trigger. Steve's... Look at that. Are we close? What's the trigger level? I'm fucking stoned as hell. 437.70. We closed 17 cents above that. Steve is on the trigger. Unbelievable. Why must you be this guy? Stevie. You know I can't spell reminisce, but I'm sure you'll correct me. It's something like that. I'm sure we'll figure it out in a minute. But anyways, where can I put this guy? I need to put you center to the right. Oh, wait, I don't want to do that. Actually, I need to stick that where he did it. Get that out of there. Let's fix that. Okay. What's a good color? He's from the Maple State. He's a maple leaf. Let's give this Alright. Why is that over there? Oh, sweet. Alright, there we go. Alright, Steve. Let's see what you're about. Bullish on Goku. That's our fourth horseman of the apocalypse right there, right? Supreme Being, Goku, Leon, and fucking Maple Leaf. Yeah, I know the Pete Rock track. Damn, TZ, you got a question or a confession? Alright, so I have been thinking about this for a long time, and I can't figure it out. What makes a chart have a beautiful and calm uptrend? No crazy price action. No wicks on the candle. Liquidity. Wicks are illiquid markets. I'm not sure if I asked the question very clearly. Yeah, that was it. This liquidity. The more liquid the stock is, the less you'll see crazy wicks. You know, when you see thin markets, you see crazy shit. Trade liquid stocks. That's why I don't talk about like really thin microcap things, but you'll see that happen and stuff like that. And there's too many people watching this. You know, stuff will move real nuts. The stuff we talk about, we don't really have the scale to move those markets. You don't move Apple, and we don't move the S&P and things like that. But yeah, liquidity is the main thing. You know, just look at the SPY, and then look at things that trade like nothing in the day, and you see the difference. It's just about volume. They'll also have really shitty options. The spreads are really fucking bad if they do have them. You know, some stocks out there, you'd love to participate in them, but the spreads just are terrible to get in and out of some stuff. You can, pretty much be long or short, like, but like you won't get to do like complex spreads and some of these guys that have like 65 and dollar fucking spread options. But yeah, like so many people get caught up in like, I know as a show we cover like a bazillion things, but do you know there are funds out there that literally trade just the S&P? There's a fund out there that trades just the Iron Condor on the S&P 500. It is the only trade the fund makes. You can actually just become an expert in one thing. You don't have to trade a million stocks, You just have to trade something that you win at all the time. Like I just said, like if you couldn't fucking figure your way out long term through Home Depot, but you fucking like murder fucking the spies, trade the spies. Like you're just trying to make money, right? Doesn't really matter what you do it on. So it's not the fact that we cover a bazillion symbols. You need to do that too. If you just fucking happen to have a feel for fucking Apple, trade Apple. Sometimes it's like that. It's intraday and some stocks just seem to be fucking completely nuts, within a basket. And it's like, this one stock just does the craziest shit. While everybody's ripping, this motherfucker counter waves and then fucking runs me out and then takes off. If you notice that a couple times, it's real specific. Like Goldman's fucking intraday is fucking nutty if you try to trade him on low resolutions. And he seems to move like there's nobody in it. Don't trade him on low resolutions is a simple answer to that, right? Don't try to beat what fucking the universe is telling you. All makes sense. Home Depot in August. All right, let's see. So, it's Good Friday. Do we have any bizarre news flow? I don't think anything crazy can. I'm telling you right now, this guy right here. Why? Why does he talk about everything in his head? Why didn't he just move with silence? He is such a market manipulating night fucking mare to retail, isn't he? Just every next day flip flopping all over the fucking place. God bless him. He's the character of our time. What the fuck? Twitter board has no choice but to reject his offer. No shit. He just said he's good to fire every one of you. That's so great. So funny, right? What did Jack Dorsey leave out there? Jesus God. We're all gonna make it. Oh, did they put WAGME inside CNBC? That's a fucking sentiment. Oh God, you don't see any of that, right? Pretty funny. Anyways, so let's talk about where we are from the last show. We're gonna start with the VIX today. Not that VIX. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a projection VIX. All right, cool. So we had this projection here. We had this pump from one of the last projections, and then we counterweighted into another bull flag. And like I said, don't ever take your eyes off 21, right? Like dead hit on this thing and sustained. And now we have this holiday day and Saturday and Sunday for there to be developments, geopolitically. And like I said, this food thing is developing fast. So I think I think cat's out of the bag, and this gets to be more highly valued as time goes forward. So this VIX really remains fucking key to pay attention to. 21 is your line in the sand for this guy. If this bull flag's out again, we fucking give a shit. So we can actually look at this guy too and just kind of gauge it. Right now, did he fucking do this move, right? See this move? Go through the trend line and then come back across it. Armageddon type shit, right? That's literally that thing down there. Yeah, this is your most high. So this is what you don't want to see is a deal like this guy up here. This and then a reversal across that. That's like doom, right? So that's the exact setup of this shit right now. He needs to fail the fuck out of here and do that, or we have a fucking problem. So right now we pay attention to that fractal. It's the same move that you see here, right? This is just a big boy version of like what you're seeing over here. Damn it. Counter structure out and reversal. That's really how things change time frames, right? Things, people pay attention to one time frame, and you counter structure, stop run people from that. And then this, viewed that way, is a trend. Looks like the end to people who aren't paying attention. But then to counter wave up from here, right, really then just changes the trend angle, right? and it's still this uptrend. So this is just, paying attention to one resolution, and that's why when people zoom in too much, they see a tire trend in one resolution, they go FOMO here, eat a counter structure, and then fucking a new wave resumes, and that's kind of like this wave motion, right? So you're paying attention right here for this right now. If this guy actually managed to accelerate back through, he's probably going to do it with a gap out of the weekend. Whatever develops over the weekend, it probably won't be good. So we pay attention. He's either going to gap down or gap up. If it's fucking negative, we'll know pretty quickly, by Sunday with the news flow, what the fuck we can expect. So with that said, the spies, right, finish in a crazy place. Finish where Steve reminisced about when things will go back to normal. With that set up in the VIX. Steve, let's go ahead and add that. Okay, let's grab that guy. That is probably the place to put this level. Wow. All right, Steve. The world's counting on you. So you got Supreme Being to Steve reminiscing. Let's go ahead and move you out. See the middle? Oh, not that. Top, middle. There you go. Oh, you can't be yellow with him being yellow. All right, you can be heroic blue. All right, you Maple Leaf. So DXY, we're counting on Steve. That's pretty much it. Let's see what happens. So we're top of the range. Remember the shockwave we drew on this guy? Kind of pay attention to this dude. Probably time to draw him a little bit more accurately, right? So, yeah, he's good enough for now. We'll leave that. He's got range for room for this range to get up inside of here and possibly fill in what looks like a wedge shape type shockwave right now. So we'll pay attention if Steve actually sets the high for counter structure out of this channel to give us something like out of this. The dollar begins to weaken from here and kind of out of this. We want to pay attention to that because, like we said, the dollar is under attack, right? The USD, Rube, has done fucking something nobody can fucking believe and continues to not believe, right? Has done an amazing fucking plow all the way down at one point to the 70s from being at 120 with what Putin's doing. Gold, not this chart. Gold. With the situation at hand, right? Whoops. Whoa. Gold is doing some interesting shit, right? So check your cheat sheets for them. Keep track of this guy, right? He's flagging right off the trigger perfectly. Sat on top of the previous trigger. You want to watch what this guy does next, right? Gold is telling you a lot about the risk, the world's level of risk assumption right now. Silver is probably worth going on the radar. Now, finally, we had this guy too, and he had lagged. Silver doesn't really get strength until there's like alpha in the precious metal market. So he kind of sat there doing like shit, right? And he's finally arched up to a trigger. So I just kind of like reviewed some things last night, and he is finally in a place that there's some life to him. So you want to see this rotation here, came up, installed, did more of a just a common bull flag, and it's kind of arching right now at a key trigger with gold. So it's probably really time to really stare at more commodities. Really good gap level too on this guy for what you're doing right now. If you see this right here, somebody said use XME and Nucor. Right, we put this out in a commodity basket for you guys. Forget how long ago in OnlyFans, and XME and everything related to it, like raw materials on the planet, are just going boom. The United States is in a crazy position where their inflation is going to hit every fucking asset on the planet, and we don't control any of this shit, and we are having a hard time replacing any of it. So you pay attention to everything, from agriculture to this stuff. Once you guys, I think, kill some of these agriculture guys we told you about, right? These mosaics and shit, like this is the bull market of our time, And people are never looking where bull markets are, nor do they agree with them, which is how they get to go so far, so fast, with so few people benefiting from them. People are not valuing this food situation we're showing you. There is the hunter-gatherer statement, and this chart should fucking scream what the fuck is going on. So we did currency, USD JPY. These are long term. Oh, that's not that one. Where's the good chart for that guy? Yeah, that's all we need. I love the cheat sheet, but fuck it. That's just funnier. This shit over here. Why, Leon? What did the Japanese do to you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But this is the place we see the dollar strong. And do they have the JPY ruble? I wonder. Yeah, they do. Let's see. Rube JPY. This thing's gotta be crazy looking. Huh? Anybody in the room have access to trade this crazy thing? That'd be something wild, right? What a fucking move on that guy. %95 bounce. Wow. In just about a month and a half. Pretty insane. So let's look at crypto. We talked about crypto's possible utilities as a cross-border settlement vehicle. Which crypto? I know somebody asked about XRP, and XRP had that functionality, that was interesting to IBM to be used for cross-border settlement in XRapid. And so, that's what a lot of XRP army, zealots hold out for, is that this thing has global fucking implications. That's not my XRP chart. Where is it? Is that it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. Let me just check. Damn it, why do I have two of these? Okay, this is the one I kept updating. Okay, this is the right one. So, had this floor, the wick was, to it for a higher floor from here, and he kind of doubled it, but it's still higher. So this still counts as what we're looking for to then rotate his way across this, but he's had a weak rotation, what we saw, what's going on in crypto and markets right now. BTC, echoes that. This more clearly, we thought, mirrored the MicroStrategy bear flag. That's of worry to us right now is where MicroStrategy is sitting. So XRP, BTC, all these guys kind of mirror like that. Shut up, and it's a little more clear to see, in some other assets than maybe XRP. So do keep that on, in mind when I'm looking at this, right? That bear flag is still there. So he either fucking really, I would say, looking at this, he wicked through that. He violates the bull flag here. You give a shit, and gets back up here and something like that. Then you say, he has a chance to complete this path. I wouldn't fuck with him now in the setup of that bear flag. He's safer if you just let this entire zone of shit get beat. And then I'll make this not so hideous. I always feel so limited in my choices. Oh, this looks terrible. Still looks terrible. Oh, fuck it. Royal blue. Money. So something like that. He goes back underneath here, and that bear flag, fully breaks that you see that's going on, and comes out with MicroStrategy, like the whole market's coming down. So we won't use a blue bull flag, but this is the projection I think makes this possible. It just doesn't work for me. Whatever. So you need something like that, I think, before you're safe to fuck with it. And you need the VIX to fail, ultimately what we showed you, because this is risk assets correlate like all the rest of them. So that being said, BTC, we did that. Total, let's look at where total is in that whole projection we had for total. So total, we did a projection for him. Right, and pretty good. He did about what we thought was possible. He did a bull flag completely down to the base, and is doing, possible recovery within the span of what this trajectory, tells us is possible here. We look at it kind of like we look back at this, right? There's like a mean angle to this trajectory, just like this, that he's going to kind of trade across the range in it, and he has the possibility of doing that. He doesn't look as much as like the bear flag of MicroStrategy. Well, let me overlay them. Let's just go ahead and check real quick. Well, you can see where the bear flag is here, right? So it's something that they kind of like would broad market correlate to do. Let's put him on there. He does. All right, so there's the MicroStrategy bear flag. Yeah, it's there. So everybody's kind of got this in common, right? So the VIX position right now, it's kind of do or die in the first couple of days next week. So definitely pay attention to this. Turn you off. That's total. Let's look at the flip of the market. Let's look at USDT. So this guy would be bullish, if that happens. So here's the projection for him. You want him to do this move right here. He does this, the VIX will fail, the risk assets will pump, and crypto will pump, and it would be a broad-based relief rally that probably would have some crazy gas on it. So everything's kind of confirming itself if you look at where you are right now. So the dollar's at the high of a range. You'd want to see the dollar lose some gas to allow risk assets and based in dollars to gain a tailwind. You'd want to see dollar weakening here, where then would weaken across crypto, allowing him to get strength. So there's a lot of things in critical position. If you look where the DXY is, where USDT is, .D, and if you look at like the position of the bear flags that we see in BTC, it's really like you're really at a critical point. That's worth paying real close attention to. I think by the end of next week, things will be in a significantly different place. So this is kind of right now kind of deal. That's why I thought it was good to do the show, even behind the crazy show last night. Is that this stuff requires context now? It's not something I wanted to wait through the weekend to get to Monday for. So that's BTC. You can check a couple of the other guys that you watch. ETH. All right. It's a do or die point. This is bull flag either complete here, total's bull flag's complete here, or we're gonna crack this trigger and total's gonna break down, and we're gonna break down this bear flag. So you're at a real good inflection point right now. I think a decent play can be made from this point. It's one of the things like timing matters, right? This is like a now setup in many of these guys. Look across at BNB, some other guys that we haven't checked in a while that we have time to check. Nothing I see particular of note there that tells us anything more. This motherfucker is always worth paying attention to. Where's his original chart? Right. OG, Litecoin. All those old levels, right? The old G grandma level. Tell you once being under there, that's also not good long term for. Whoops. Oh, right. That's not good long term for crypto as a whole, right? The second that LTC is under grandma, crypto as a whole is in danger, and it has been the whole time it's been there. So now your key on this is, right, does he take out the low here and complete this trajectory, right? So we have that same bear flag type structure in this, right? That where you have like, do you do this, come out, do this, and then go back over and do that? He's not really healthy enough to prove that yet, right? He has a round to come back up to grandma before we believe, yeah, this is possibly a rotation into another fucking resolution out. So for all intents and purposes, he has a very much weaker version of the same flag right here, right? He breaks this to the downside, and pretty much he's probably gonna fucking signal the whole planet's getting fucking sold. So I think he's in a critical spot too. Like everyone, ETH's at the base of a bull flag right in front of a trigger, and he's at the base of like fucking a large resolution pump that came out of the May 19th dump of 2021. So definitely everything's in a spot that like you guys should take some good notes on this stuff. If you're a crypto trader, there are a couple of assets here that will give you cross market confirmation of a major breakdown. And some of these can be applied to VIX and other risk assets when we come into Monday, depending on where this stuff moves to through the weekend. All right, so probably shouldn't use so much white, right? It's like a lot of, well, it's whatever. Well, this is the path. I'll just make it something else if that comes out, right? So we want to see this either holds or we're in deep shit. So I think that kind of clears that up. All right. Did crypto, did some currencies, did some stocks. Didn't do any major stocks. So Tesla, look at some of these guys. Elon is making, that's not the right Tesla chart. Tesla. All right. So that same base in LTC, that same technical level in ETH, everywhere, it's everywhere. So let's zoom into this guy. So like right there, right? this kind of has like the setup a low resolution bear flag that you could see if LTC cracked and VIX pumped. There's a couple guys that are in places for like fucking gas pedal level fucking down bars. So crypto is probably our lead on equities, depending on if they do anything violent through the weekend or not. They're gonna probably give us a lead. If they sit still and we come into Monday and everything's in this position, then it's kind of like, you know, all hands on deck kind of like situation, you know. So for all you guys out there that are newer, that are, you know, in these markets with VIX sitting north of 21, that have always been looking for an opportunity to get in, you know, I know you can feel like you gotta. Just be cautious of what you're dealing with, right? You know, your first fucking entry into the market may have to learn how to short the market and not just find something to buy, you know. And again, directionality really means nothing, you know, when you really understand price. So it's just what makes money right now. If this is going to go off a bridge, you know, play what it gives you. So context for a few things, right? And some good places to put some alerts and keep track of stuff. You see Tesla break through the fucking, you know, bottom of this, and VIX and SPY and shit don't look healthy, then he can probably get some life to the downside. Some bigger names want to take a look at, right? That doesn't look fucking healthy. The only thing is, it's a range that has bounced from many times, but structurally, this isn't a thing you get in front of. That's absolutely a bear flag. That's in continuation. You at least would fucking probably watch like him to like snap this shit before you want to fuck with that at all, right? So that's a pretty easy watch on Microsoft. Where are the bulls at, right? You know, fucking things to do with agriculture and fucking just not that side of the market. People don't want to look here. What is this hideous chart? I remember I did that, but I think I have a better cat chart. Yeah, cat. You know, these guys, deer that we talked about, we put out. That's not my deer chart. Yeah, deer, you know. Put this guy back out for you when he did this on the show. Awesome play. People caught the rotation on that. But the bull market has nothing to do with what people have been looking for the last 20 years. So I think that covers all of what I want to talk about there for stocks and stuff like that. You guys feel pretty comfortable with that macro? It's a pretty wake and bake macro, I know. Let's see. Steve's a legend now. All right. A red candle and red volume just means that your candle finished down, and that gives you the volume color for the direction. Doesn't mean anything else than that. You have to read the volume of a different resolution to gain any other insights. All right. Control CTRA. Let's see, CTRA. What is this? Energy guy? In a momento. Minerals and minerals, integrated oil. So looks like oil guys, right? Oil guys are strong as piss. Looks pretty good on the rotation of what he is, right? So getting up here right now, it's a decent area for at least a stall. If I looked at it, I would probably wait to see if he gives me a structure. Whoops. That's Stevie's line. See what he does in this spot. And play him above that at this point, right? Because he could correct from here. He could just chop in here. You know, ultimately you want to play him, you know, when he does whatever he does. It's probably a better deal to wait for. So that guy looks good, you know, and you'd want to see he runs with, you know, the rest of what's going on in energy. There's the XOP. and that's what he's tracking, right? Energy is just fucking running across the board. Everything is, correlated as shit there. Next one. ICLPAAS and shop. ICLPAAS and shop. ICL. Is that what you just said? Or did you say ICA? Dude, I'm baked. What the fuck did he just say? Yeah, God, I can't remember shit today. ICL Group. Chemical Agriculture. Well, I haven't seen this one before. 2008. Everybody has that same high, in this market. And so this guy right now, I mean, just basic levels, paying attention to him. He's thin as shit looking. You can just play in between these levels. He's a moon pump right now. So this resolution, a correction is probably a safer thing to wait for, and then play him again. But I think structurally he'll give you some great plays between here and here, and then possibly try to leave out with the rest of agriculture kind of looking like this. He looks like, he looks at the pump that's going on from Moo, right? Like everything agricultural is kind of tearing ass, and he's in that rip right now. So as long as this continues, he could drag this guy higher. This guy's hauling ass, so this guy can definitely go at least into this level before he corrects, at the speed he's running, but he's dangerous to enter at that kind of speed also. PAAS. I thought we did this. PAAS. He's a silver guy, right? Oh, wow, that was a long time ago we looked at that guy. Well, that never happened. So the bull flag's just a lot bigger. I'm dim over here. So at this res, it's probably a better idea of what he's got. Like I said, silver's starting to look a lot better. So silver keeps carrying. This guy's going to finish his rotation. And likely in time, if inflation does do what we think it's going to do across this resolution weekly like we're looking at, this guy has likely a chance of going all the way up here and getting to this target. We think you should be looking at like metals and things like this, think about like longer term. If Putin accomplishes what he wants to do to the U.S. dollar, a lot of assets are gonna be in crazy fucking places. You look at long term guys like Newmont, who's your flagship fucking gold stock. We tell you to pay attention to this guy. These things are doing generational moves. This thing finally blew out its 1987 high. Like fucking crazy shit's happening with metal stocks right now that literally hasn't happened, in the time I cared about stocks. I already forgot what the last symbol was. Shop, Twitter, and then crypto stuff. Oops. Shop. Told you not to fucking go in front of that train. Where'd that guy go who's all fucking going crazy about it doubling? Hope he didn't listen to himself. So yeah, shop, that was a sentiment read and a half, right? All that emotion equals wreck. So that's more wrecked. That guy does not look healthy for a bounce either. So like I said, we're in a crazy spot. Right now, it just kind of looks like shit, right? Stuff like his head to the floor. That guy could, if he drops through here and the market's weak, he's going to drop a whole lot. So for right now, I say, a lot of guys in downtrends, be willing to play it down or give it a second if you're not willing to do that. Twitter. With Elon talking as much as he's talking, boy, is this thing dangerous, right? So Elon's talking at a good trigger that we like on this guy. He's probably going to jawbone some more. Quite likely he rotates this guy and slams into this angle, at least. But playing it right now, that comment he just did, I don't know if you can buy it. He's gonna gap it down, and then it's probably gonna get some other comments and gap it up. And he's got this argument with this fucking Prince that's trying to fuck with him. This is really news driven. This is real dangerous. So I don't know. I would want to tell you to make a projection on it, but he's gonna gap a lot. So I'm just gonna tell you this guy's probably like not the best thing to put on the show. It's gonna entice people to play something that the risks are kind of disproportionate. So I'm gonna skip that guy. XMR.eth. Guess we haven't put that on the show anywhere, have we? XMR.eth. Have we not put that on the show anywhere? Guess not. So yeah, we talked about XMR, and possible utility in a world that fucking, could be fully divided and, hiding wealth in places that allow them to bring it to wherever they plan to be rather than fucking have it at risk in any particular sovereign nation is an interesting thing. I think, ultimately the highest utility coin out there in the world is ETH, but XMR has definitely seen a lot of action lately, and it does, warrant, attention because there is really insane crypto wealth out there across the last decade that is hiding in many of these chains. So XMR.eth, we've never had this guy. So we looked at Atom.eth, and he's kind of worth probably taking a look at with regard to this. Let's see what that is again. So we'd probably see strength in real strength when ETH is kind of weaker across a few assets. And right now, this oscillation, we're kind of waiting to see if we do see this rotation complete in Atom.eth. So this is still kind of in motion. I think XMR.eth going to be underpinned by that. So there's definitely a differential. There's a little bit of like strength here. We see XMR has a bit of a difference, and only in lowest resolutions, right? So bull market for him is like down here. If you look at him right now for right this moment, right, he has no trend at this trajectory. If he fails to like continue this rotation, and he's got at least got this like he's rotated this, and on a lower resolution, right, he's got a small uptrend that can easily become a bear flag still. But can he maintain the trajectory as he bounces? Yeah. But that's what these things are, right? So he has to do something more meaningful before you want to play him on any significant res. He has an interesting volume situation going down here, but it's just kind of the early beginning. So you can only really play him down at like really small scales right now before he proves himself in some bigger res and flips some resolution. So that guy, like, like on res like this, you wouldn't give a shit about him honestly until he was something like this, until he was above that. So context matters. It's a very low resolution uptrend in the nearest term, and if it's only built in something bigger, it will start from here, but you can only track him down here at this point. And then somebody put KCS ETH. Is that what it was? Where'd it go? That nurse guy tried to troll me last night after the show on YouTube also. Like, it's pretty sad. That guy's such a beta. Was he's on a no fap team or something? He has no idea what the fuck room he walked into. I was like, bitch, you're not trolling anybody. You're just gonna play that game. You have no idea who the fuck you're talking to. Better check yourself. I think he thinks we're just some random YouTuber. So at any rate, KCF, KuCoin. That looks rough to be in that shotcoin, boy. So, man, these are some vicious moves he's had. Let's see. That's KuCoin. That's a fucking motherfucker stop run. That's what you want to see down there. That's death. But no real exit volume on that. It didn't really kill anybody there. This volume looks fucking peculiar to say the least. That he's got this wide here and nothing, and the price action doesn't really reflect it. I feel like this corrective structure here and that recovery mirror this and that recovery. If you correct like a bull flag here one more time and then get out of that and then break out of this for once and go cleanly, this is probably his best shot on the outside of this angle while he like tries to exit this bull flag. But he's not really gonna prove shit about this until he goes through like up here. This guy's volume doesn't really make sense to me. I don't really like how this looks. He's got Wick City here, Wick City there. Yeah, probably should stabilize above that before you really want to fuck with this thing. Could he do it sooner in this trajectory? Yeah, he could go up here, you know, and just do that and then that. Still, that's possible if he wants to maintain this. But I think he's more likely counter structures a little bit, then pulls it off if he's going to do it. But it does look bullish, you know, at the end of the day. Yeah, it looks kind of weird. I don't know if that's maybe accurate to see that wad in the one spot and then nothing else, you know, before or after. That looks like something else is going on there. I don't think that's accurate. So not bad. Little morning show. What's our run time right now? We're not gonna take it too far. We're at an hour and 30. So a pretty casual, chill show. Nothing nuts. Nobody's got to run off to do anything. There's a lot of things geopolitically to pay attention to. There's a lot of things domestically for all of you with food to pay attention to. There are a lot of markets at critical levels worth paying attention to. It kind of all seems like, you know, it's all in your face right now. Definitely don't get, you know, traumatized. That just means you're emotional. You make a shitty choice with all this info in front of you. You gotta definitely like look over this and think about it. You know, let's hope that I wildly miss all of this. I don't think anybody would mind me blowing this call. So, you know, it is what it is, and we will navigate the new normal as best as we can. It's a puzzle to be solved. That's all we see it as. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. You enjoyed Black Order. Again, thanks to Dr. D, Above the Bias, Burger, and Tiki Hakamiki for joining us to give us a panel to kind of discuss, you know, that swath of info. We covered a lot of shit. You know, we covered space, cash, timeline, not at the nuanced level that you could take it to, but we gave you the bulk of the details we thought, you know, were worth paying attention to. Somebody wrote me last night, they didn't realize the sky wasn't red on Mars. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy, right? With the assumption that most people had that, like, you know, Earth's the only thing with a blue sky because they understand why the sky is blue is pretty funny. You'd be surprised how many people will tell you they think the ocean's actually blue water. And I was like, do you have blue water coming out of your pipes? You should probably get that checked, you know. But most of us didn't really pay attention in fifth grade when they taught us how the sky worked. So at any rate, you know, review the show. Keep it in context with what we put out. I would definitely pay attention to the disaster basket. That's an OnlyFans. We tried to give you a lot of ideas in one place because there's too much to cover singular chart wise. So I did, you know, basket drops to kind of give you a lot of stuff to pay attention. You have to pay attention to everything. Lots of those things look good. They are where the bull market is. And you know, it's hard to find good choices when everyone's, you know, in meltdown like you see right now. But there are good choices. There's always a bull market somewhere. Keep those baskets in context. You know, if this problem's going to continue, it'll continue to be the bull. The VIX never comes off your radar above 21, especially with what's going on with the rest of the risk assets, crypto included, that we just looked at. New levels for Stevie D's reminiscing and Leon and currencies. Keep those guys in your alerts and trading view, you know, and try to move nimble as a team and as a station, because this situation in the market's gonna, you know, as it develops, is going to wipe people out of the markets before it wipes people off of the fucking planet. So I definitely like to be, you know, around when that begins. So I'd like to have all of you around too. Stay safe, motherfuckers. It's Mood Friday. Hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you enjoyed the learning process, and we'll catch you guys on the flip. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
Yeah, we got time for it. What up, what up? So, post-credit wrap. Let's see some other bull items that we found out there. So one of the things, right, in crisis situations that you definitely pay attention to is staples, right? Discretionaries when people are spending money loosely. Staples flourish when people are fucking terrified. To make it simple, right? So one of the guys we look at, like a very simple grouping here, simple listing of like sectors that you have in the S&P, whether it be staples or utilities, right? Utilities also flourish in these times. We've done many of these on the show, so many of you guys should have had these triggers for guys like Duke or Southern. What utilities as a whole is where the strength really is. I think utilities are at a high, like a 50-something, a high that like without the rest of the market, that's something that's very uncommon. While the rest of the market is struggling, utilities are blowing out absolutely crazy. So, following some of these guys that are pretty simplistic, these are the biggest like 10 market caps of each, which are, a really good way to keep track of like a sector as a whole. But you can see like how structurally strong these guys are. Now the sexiest names out there, right? Most people aren't trying to play fucking Pepsi or play fucking P&G. No one gives a fucking shit, right? But we did all these guys on the show, and for you guys that kept track, you had a pretty good list of bull assets, that went fucking flying. This is an amazing projection for Walmart that was done on the show, and he looks a lot like fucking Deere, doesn't he? So these guys, like, are doing really crazy shit right now. So there are bull assets, right? There's not saying the market most people's eyes are going to. But this is a pretty simple marketplace to follow, right? And the rotation right now is clearly not with risk growth assets. Kathy's big old penis, like we told you, she's just on the wrong side of history right now. And you can see that in things like I said, like XLP over fucking Kathy, right? Kathy's on the receiving end of this, So and so is everybody who's allowed her to tickle them with her big old ass dick. So so a couple more things for you guys to put on the watch list along with your disaster basket, and make sure you keep the market in a broader view. Just don't get too tunnel vision and zoomed in, right? So next time, motherfuckers. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.